creating physical ability, creating players ready for 90 minutes every 3 days during months, that's not something you can create by 2 weeks training. Nobody can do that. Same with robustness, same with building up muscles and making them stronger in general. It's work of longer term. But everybody in the club knows it's a really important part for the future of Rangers.
Craig, sports science, what's going on here? What's he saying?
Well, look, it's a massive part of any football club that you must get right. Because you spend a lot of money on players, so the most important thing that you need to make sure that you're able to deliver is that those players are fit and able to be selected week in, week out. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't know. I don't see what happens day in, day out in terms of Rangers training, that sort of stuff. But I'm talking 20 years ago when I was finishing my career at Australia. Strength and conditioning, injury prevention was massive, John. It was massive. And what it enables you to do is that sits alongside. Actually, you do it before you get onto the training field to start your team training. Is individual programs that helps you avoid injury. And I just don't know that a lot of that, or to what extent it's done over here.
And that was 20 years ago.
20 years ago. In Australian national team, lots of stuff. It was half an hour with the strength and conditioning coach before we actually got onto the training ground. And I just feel as if it's so important. Another telling sign in recent seasons, when you see players seeking treatment elsewhere, then you know that there's an issue in terms of they're not exactly where they need to be. So, look, he seems hell-bent on trying to get it fixed because he needs his players fit to give him a chance of trying to be successful.
What's the latest on Danilo?
No, he's ready to play. We will see what is important in this game, if it's necessary that he starts or that he comes in. It depends on the opponent also, what profiles you need, physical state of the players. He's not ready for 90 minutes. That's logical. Yeah, that's the difficult thing for the moment. It's quite a puzzle. It's the biggest puzzle that I ever saw, to be honest, with all the injuries and players falling out. Like I need to say one thing more. So John Sutter will also not be available for the game with a muscle problem, not a big one, but not available for the game. So until now, we started with a lot of players who are not available. Some players falling out also last couple of weeks. So it will be very important every game to look really good at the minutes of every player and try to build their physical condition, their robustness in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months to have a bigger squad available.
John, so there's someone else out, John Sutter. We know he's been in and out over a number of years. What are you thinking there about Philippe Clement? He's saying it's a puzzle.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they're having a bad run of injuries. Most clubs have a bad run of injuries, but what he's saying is by being robust, is that every player has to be strong, fit, ready to go and play, put in tackles, run, last games, so they're not getting tired towards the end of games. And for me, Craig is talking about how important it is, but like 20 years ago when we were playing, we didn't have the tools that the players have got now. Our players now have got heart rate monitors, they've got sports science, they've got 2 or 3 physios, they've got lots of coaches. Whereas 20 years ago, if I had a niggle on my ankle, Martin Neal would say to me, "Can you play, big man, for me? Can you play?" Yeah. And I'd say, "Yeah, I'll go and play, no problem at all." Nowadays, players, I feel, almost have to be perfect before they take to the pitch. And there's these zones now. You can actually give a player a blood test or a urine sample to see if they're stressed while they're sleeping. And all this stuff. That's all these machines. They can work everything out.
And I never slept. I never slept.
And it's almost like you've got to be perfect nowadays. And you hit that red zone and you've got to come out to training for a couple of days. When you're in the green zone, you're okay. They've got so much science now to give the team an advantage over the other team.
So the sports scientists, the medical people might say, John, you can't play this week.
No, you can't play because you're not. They bring you out.
But you might want to.
20 years ago, it was like we didn't have those tools. But nowadays it's almost like everything is there for you. They can tell a player almost what to do.
Craig?
Yeah, no, I know John's spot on in terms of the way. Look, for me, in terms of sports science, there's numbers, and there's what you physically see with your eye. For me, is probably more so important. So, I mean, I can watch a training session as John could, and you can look at players and know that they're tired, right? And then you can look at numbers to back things up. I feel as if at times that too many decisions are made based on the numbers first. And I think it needs to be the other way around. I really do. And this is something that has been going on for a long, long time now. So you're not training today because your loads are too high for this week.
Yeah.
But how do you then discover or find durable athletes that are able to go to the line and some? Yeah. Because that's what's required. Mental toughness. Sometimes you've got to dig into reserves. At the moment, it's like, how do you know what the reserves are if they never ever push beyond?
Mm. Yeah, but what we're saying is basically the players now are monitored. Yeah. Each and every player is monitored every time he comes off the training ground. They're actually filming now training sessions. Yeah. You know, they can tell how many times you've walked, how many times you've jogged, how many
drones
times
and everything.
How many sprints. Yeah. You know, they've got all this technology and science. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for football.